of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection. Now, if I may retain my liquids here for one moment, I'd like to continue the redundance of my quote-unquote intestinal tract. See, because to preclude on the issue of world domination would only circumvent, circumcise the revelation that it reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms which now perpetrates the Jericho's activation. So, do not misinterpret the chauvinistic...
Give to the United Negro Scholarship Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to develop without help.
Allow me to expose my colon once again. The ramification inflicted on the incision placed within the fallopian cavities serves to be holistic, taken from the Latin word jalapeno. The ambiguity that I feel never justifies itself. There's always the pungent odor of life's constipation that surreptitiously conflicts with the detrimental instability hitherto for 6-8. Who do we appreciate? The unification of Congress, condoms, demystifying the squalor of profanity regurgitating over and over again. Here, let me digress my bowels for a minute and right to the front, the nondescript hernia rectifies the miscommunication of fetal or fecal, depending on where your head is at.
Reading is fundamental.
So do not be persecuted by the pompous fedora balanced by the equilibrium fortified by the government's inability to eradicate or foreshadow, taken from the Hebrew word foreskin.
Understand what you read. He doesn't. Paid for by the President's Council on Literacy.
Legally repressing my buzzitude, I've retracted my gonads with gigantic proportions, and the signing of the prohibition, you see, defecates the fluids of detention between the essence of the Euro intercourse, you see.
AT&T allows you to reach out and touch someone, even when they don't get out much.
Right, exactly. Okay, brother, okay. See, all you doing right now is flatulating your liquids, okay? Because I believe it was Homo erectus that said to expose the hemorrhoidal ramification would merely delineate the colonic orifice, thereby separating the gluteus from the maximus.
Well, Homo was very deep, but you seem to masticate the proclamation, my brother.
Okay.
Because the gastrointestinal phlebitis prostigates the crustacean of the colostomy.
Oh, go ahead.
If that's your bag.
Preach on.
Right, and further hindering the pyorrhea, which
Excuse me?
you got me, brother. The diarrhea.
Okay.
Moving toward the angina or vagina, depending on how much time you got.
Man, you are Metamucil.
I know.
Talk to me if you feel the need and when you need the feeling. Talk to me.
Over 5,000 inmates are prisoners not only of their cells, but of illiteracy. That's why Barbara Bush is tearing down those bars with her Read in Jail campaign.
Yeah, here's Buddy. He just started your program.
Thanks to your program, I can read my sentence now. Triple life sentence with no hope for parole.
Congratulations.
Well, now let me introduce you to John here. You know, he's a real success story.
Thank you, Mrs. Bush. Before I could read, I was forced to rob convenience stores for a living. But since joining your literacy program, a whole new world has been opened up to me. Embezzlement.
You know, we're so proud of him. And finally here, there's Oswald. He's one of our most enthusiastic students.
Oh, yeah. The pancreatic philosophy of your book, you understand, has civilized the shadow, you dig? And opened my mucal membranes, you understand, to a world, oh yes, a world of nocturnal commissions.
Warden, may I?
God! What a lockup!
What you're saying then, Oswald, is that the viscous mammalian glands which scrofulate my work clearly disembowel the placentitude of the very recticality of my virtue.
Exactly, pubile. It is the quasi-menstrual, excuse me, quasi-modo.
Point taken.
Phlebitis that makes your book so, clitoric?
Oh, yes.
And reminiscent of the Oedipus, or the pedipus, depending on which end is up.
I think I'm beginning to see the light. The entire premise of my book was wrong.
Way off.
Well, I'd better start on a new version immediately.
Barbara Bush, doing her part in the fight against illiteracy.
Before we vote on your request for parole, we do have some questions. Do you think you'll be able to adjust to life on the outside?
Allow me to partologize myself. Suppositorily speaking, my incarceration has forced, you understand, the ventilation of, shall I say, my dairy air, and upon my discharge, I will ejaculate my mind to the prophylactic of the bowels of society.
But how would you support yourself, Mr. Bates, considering that your reading comprehension has gone down every year since you've been in prison?
A very vaginative proposition, my man. That is to say, prostitution pertaining to the cotex, you understand, of the argument. I myself have imminentized my liquidation, therefore, ergo, i.e., that is the instigation, which is excessive cleavage, shall we say. So, let me clarify, or, excuse me, clitify. In other words, I'd probably teach.
All right, if there are no further questions, let us put this to a vote. All those in favor of parole vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed vote nay. Nay. I'm sorry, Mr. Bates. Is there anything further you'd like to say?
Let me be venereal in my requisition for this body of congregation, for the personal gratification of my urethras. As the Greek philosopher Massengill once dictated, lickus my probiscus. Undouche me. I can find my own damnation in tardy completion.